Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to fifth grade social studies. We are continuing our unit on U.S. geography. I, again, will be your tour guide for this wonderful tour. Today is August 25th, 2020. Our essential question for the day is, what is a map scale and how does it help me use a map? Of course, it'd be nice if, I guess, this was a question. Today, I will learn what a map scale is and how to use it to help me read a map. So let's go ahead and get started. We're using maps again, same unit with a map scale today. First of all, what is a map scale? All right, so if you look at a map scale is usually at the bottom of the map, and I have it circled here, and it gives me relative distance. It tells me if I measure this far on a map, that will equivalent to another unit. For example, if I measured this distance, this is 1 inch, and 1 inch is going to equal 800 miles, then every inch on this map would be 800 miles, all right? So that is what a map scale is. It tells you relative distance on a larger map, all right? And they are almost always located at the bottom of maps, okay? So if I look at this map here, this map scale here, this distance, if I took a ruler and measured this distance, whatever that is, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, it would be equivalent to 1 kilometer. Where this long distance up here, longer distance, I measure that with a ruler, that would equal 1 mile, okay? So how does a map scale work? Again, I use my ruler and I tell myself this distance measured with a ruler will equal 500 miles. Half of that distance is 250 miles. So on this detailed map over here, if I measured, let's say, from this location to this location, that's about the same distance as this over here, so that's about 500 miles. Again, it's about, I don't have a ruler with me, but okay. So common units for map scales. Most map scales use miles or kilometers. On big, large maps that show really large areas, we're going to use miles or kilometers. There can be smaller maps that would use a smaller, like if I was using my classroom, measuring things in my classroom, obviously I wouldn't use miles or kilometers, I'd use feet, but you get the gist. If I was measuring outside on the playground, I'd probably use yards. So here in the United States, we use miles to measure very far distances. In Europe, they use kilometers because they have the metric system. So sometimes you might see kilometers, but for the most part here in the United States, we use miles. All right, so with your shoulder partner, obviously if you're at home learning or a virtual learner, it could be with a parent or a friend or whoever's with you. We're going to take a ruler and we're going to measure the distance between each object on this next practice activity, okay? We're going to write the measurement under the question, then use the map scale given to change the measurement from inches into feet, all right? And at this point, you should have watched the video on how to use a ruler to give you a little review on the correct way to measure with a ruler, all right? So let's go ahead and get started here. So question number 1, it says, how far is it from the soccer ball to the mailbox? So if I measure from the soccer ball to the mailbox, that gives me about 1 inch, 1 3/4 inch, okay? Number 2 says, how far is it from the bike to the flower? So this bike to this flower is 2.5 inches, okay? Now I'm gonna let you pause the video and you will finish it, and when you're ready, we'll come back and check our work, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, measure the remaining 4 measurements, and we'll come back and make our conversions. All right, great, welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and continue the measurement. So number 3, how far is the apple tree from the soccer ball? So this is this longer distance. Apple tree is over here to the soccer ball, and that's about 4 inches. Soccer ball to the mailbox was 1 3/4. This was 2.5. This was 4. How many feet from the soccer ball to the flower? That's this distance here. That's 1 1/4 inch. And then from the bike to the soccer ball, that's 2.5. It gets kind of messy when you have a lot of measurements. Okay, this one's a double. How far from the shovel to the flower? So the flower all the way across to the shovel is about 5.25 inches. And then from the shovel to the apple tree is about 1 3/4 inches. So a total of 5 1/4 and 1 3/4. Okay, so look at my map scale up here. My map scale is telling me that 1 inch is 10 feet. Okay, 1 inch is 10 feet. Now, if I wanted actual measurements and very specific measurements, I would be very instructive about that. But here, we're going to do some rounding because I just want you to get the idea of how to use a map scale. I'm not so much worried about math here as I am the map scale. So 1 3/4 is about 2 inches if I round it up. So 1 3/4 is about 2 inches. So if 1 inch is 10 feet, then 2 inches would be 20 feet. Very good. So 2.5, because half is an easy measurement, 2 inches is 20 feet. Half of 10 is 5, so 20 plus 5 would give me about 25 feet. 4 inches would be 10 groups of 4, about 40 feet. 1 1/4 is about 1 if I round it down, so it's about 10 feet. Again, 2.5 is the same as this 2.5, so that's about 25 feet. And this one here, just let's have some fun remembering fractions. 1/4 and 3/4 is 4/4. We know that 4/4 equals 1 whole. So 5 whole plus 1 whole plus another whole gives me 7 total. 7 groups of 10 would give me 70 feet, like a little bonus. Okay? All right, and again, it's just taking this right here. 1 inch equals 10 feet. So then 2 inches is 20 feet. 3 inches is 30 feet. 4 inches is 40 feet. 5 inches is 50 feet. And then if I did 1.5, it'd be 15. 2.5 would be 25. 3.5 would be 35. 4.5 would be 45. Just using my map skills there, right? My math skills. Okay? All right. Now, on your own, you are going to do a try it with your ruler. You're going to measure using this map that you have in the activity, Google activity. You'll use this map. I've given you the measurements that you need. You will be doing the conversion only. Okay, you will submit this when you are done. All right. So you're going to answer these 4 questions because we're not going to work on number 1. We're just going to answer number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. About how many miles is Nashville from Raleigh? About how many miles from Little Rock to Tallahassee? And then which 2 points are further apart, Phoenix to Tallahassee or Salt Lake City to Nashville? And what is the approximate distance between Bismarck and Montgomery? All right. So you'll answer those 4 questions and then you will submit the activity. All right. So let's recap what we learned today. A map scale helps us determine long distances using a relationship scale. It is measured in miles in the US when measuring long distances. And we also learned today that sometimes you might see kilometers. So if this was exactly 1 inch and it was 100 miles, then every inch on my map would equal 100 miles. Okay, feel free to go back, review the video, watch the using a map scale activity again. Watch the ruler activity again if you need to practice using a ruler. All right, I will see you on the next Zoom meeting. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer any questions you have. Until then, guys, hope you enjoyed the tour. Have a great day. See ya.